everyone, in the previous videos we talked about cost related to equity, cost related to preference shares, cost related to debt, because we are trying to understand what is the impact of cost of capital in relation to the capital employed in the organization. Today we'll learn some of the key terms related to ratio analysis. Ratio analysis is a very important tool of management accounting which makes it possible for the organizations and the other stakeholders to assess and to find out the financial health of any organization. But where do we commit a mistake before we start learning ratio analysis? Ratio analysis is not about writing the denominator and the numerator and arriving at a figure. Before you proceed with understanding ratio analysis, it is important for you that as a student, you are very thorough with the key terms of ratio analysis. Now, which are these key terms of ratio analysis which is mandate to understand in a very simple manner? To start with, when we talk about ratios, there are different types of ratios which will help us to ascertain, to find out whether the organization is financially healthy or the organization is financially unhealthy. So understanding the terms one by one for the same, starting with the first one, liquidity ratios. What do you understand by liquidity ratios and why do we calculate liquidity ratios? It talks about the level of the company to pay back the short-term obligations. When I say short-term obligations, I'm referring to all the current liabilities of an organization. Now, which are the current liabilities of an organization, my dear friends? So, all the liabilities like bank overdraft, creditors, bills payable, outstanding expenses. These are the basic examples of current liabilities, and we try to assess by calculating liquidity ratio that are we in a position to pay back these obligations in a short period of time and in a very easy and comfortable manner. How do we do that? There are different ratios to be calculated for it, that is current ratio and liquid ratio, which we'll be discussing in detail in the next video. But for now, when somebody says liquidity ratio, what do we mean and understand by that? Here we try to find out and assess the short-term obligations capacity to be paid by the organization, right? So we try to find out the relationship between current assets and current liabilities. Now again, when we talk about current assets and in relation, in proportion to that, how many current liabilities you have will ensure and showcase whether an organization is in a position to pay back in a short term all the obligations which are short term in nature. Talking about the next key term, you will be listening, learning and calculating the profitability ratios. Now, why profitability ratios are calculated? As I told you, that knowing the financial health of an organization is very, very important. And the most vital and significant tool for that is ratio analysis. In this video, we are only learning the meaning of the key terms. How to do the calculation, I'll be showing it to you in the upcoming videos one by one. So talking about profitability ratios, here we try to assess ability to generate earnings related to sales, assets and equity. Capital is employed in the business, right? Sales is generated by the business. But what is the correlation between profit, sales, assets and equity? We try to assess that in profitability ratios by calculating ratios like gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, return on asset and return on equity. So we try to assess, is the company or the organization capable enough and good enough to generate profit in exchange to whatever investment has been done in the capital expenditure in the form of assets, or whatever equity is there, or whatever sales are happening, are we making profit in relation to these three components? That is what we try to calculate in profitability ratio.